At least 17 civilians, 5 children, dead after Russia launched airstrikes against the rebel-held Idlib province in northwestern Syria. Yesterday, President Trump warned Syria, Iran, and Russia that any attack against the province would be a grave humanitarian mistake. The White House today threatening to retaliate should Assad use, again, chemical weapons against the Syrian people. Joining us tonight, retired 4-star General, Fox Business Chief Strategist, General Jack Keane. Great to have you with us, General.
Good to be here.
This is a red line drawn by the president, and your reaction to its enforceability and the prospects.
Well, first of all, he wasn't specific in his statement about what would cause him to react. He's obviously opposing what is about to be a very large-scale military campaign to destroy the 20,000-plus opposition forces that are in Idlib province, 10,000 of which, by the way, are al-Qaeda. But the concern everybody has about this is there are 3 million people that live there.
Right.
And the Assad way of war and the Putin way of war is actually to go in and use mass bombing campaigns to kill as many civilians, destroy as many structures as possible, and therefore drive the insurgents or the opposition forces out of the area. And that has worked for them time and time again. Our concern, stated by other U.S. officials, has been if they use chemical weapons, then we will respond. I think what the president is just cautioning them about conducting another bloodbath campaign where so many people are going to die, women and children and others. The Russians, by the way, are fully in support of Assad here. This is what they did when Putin took over. 90 days after he took over in Russia, he went into Chechnya and used conventional forces, a bombing campaign in Grozny, and killed tens of thousands of innocent people. That's what this campaign is about, and it is horrific.
It is a difficult moment. The president, though, being clear that the United States would retaliate, he wasn't specific in what manner, if the Assad again uses chemical weapons. How reliable is the judgment on chemical weapons? How confident are you that we have the ability to make that determination without a doubt?
No, I'm confident about it. And we've been accurate at every time that we've called it. Follow-on inspections have come up with the same answer that we did in our preliminary analysis. So, any airplane that takes off in Syria, we have full visibility of the thing running down the runway, much less where it goes and what it does. We have absolute visibility of all of that. And so something goes over a town and drops bombs, we're watching that. And then all of a sudden, within minutes, or let's give it 30 minutes or an hour, we're hearing that there's chemicals that are splashed all over the people there. Right. So we know who did it. We have their fingerprints on it, so to speak.
What's your judgment? Will the president's threat be sufficient to forestall such a humanitarian catastrophe?
No, it's not going to happen. Listen, the reality is the Russians and the Iranians have propped up the Assad regime successfully. We squandered the opportunities to do a lot about that during the Obama administration. We don't have a lot of leverage, to be frank about it, Lou. The Turks have moved some troops down into northern Syria to try to deter them, but they're dead set on doing this. The Russians have moved 36 additional airplanes into their airfield. They've got as like number of ships outside. They're going to use some cruise missiles as well. They're ready to conduct a massive campaign here, and it's going to be awful to watch, and much more awful to experience, certainly. It'll be horrific like we've seen in eastern Ghouta and also in Aleppo.
General Jack Keane, as always, we appreciate your analysis. Thanks so much.